Hey guys, this video is all about PAILs and rails. They are the foundational contraction and the most essential component of the kin stretch training method, and the most foundational component of the kin stretch training methodology. And really, at the end of the day, just acronyms that really help simplify and explain what we're trying to do without getting overly complicated. So the idea is that we won't spend a lot of time discussing this in the kin stretch classes because you will have already seen this video and have a really good solid understanding of what we're talking about. So PAILs and rails: progressive angular isometric loading, regressive angular isometric loading, PAIL, rail. Isometric is a really fancy word that just means that the muscles contract but the joint doesn't move. So if I take my wrist into end range extension and then block my wrist with my hand, this could also be a wall or any other kind of implement, as I try and come out of wrist extension, I'm contracting my wrist flexors, the muscles on this side of the joint, trying to come out of the stretch. But because of the block, there is no movement occurring. That is an isometric contraction. This is shown by science to be the safest type of contraction in order to build strength, body control, and mobility, and that's why it's so important, and we do them so consistently in kin stretch classes. Now, progressive and regressive. With the same example of wrist extension, our progressive tissues are the ones that are stretched, the ones on the open angle of the joint, and so our progressive angular isometric loading, the PAIL, is trying to come out of that stretch. So if we are again using our other hand to anchor ourselves in place and we start pushing and trying to bring ourselves out of the stretch, that would be a PAIL contraction. It's held for a certain length of time and is always followed by a rail contraction. That's contracting the shortened tissue on the closing side of the joint, trying to pull ourselves further into wrist extension or kind of trying to move ourselves away from that block. So PAIL, contracting the stretched tissue, rail, contracting the shortened tissue. PAIL first, rail follows. We will see them a lot, so if you need to play that video back again just to get the clarity you need, make sure you have a really solid understanding of those before you move on to the kin stretch classes.